Welcome, book lovers, to Creatives on the Couch, brought to you by ASJ Publishing. I'm your host, Christine Madafferi, and today I'm speaking with Jacinta Maree, the author of Soulless.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, welcome to the couch, Jacinta.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's lovely to have you here. And before we get on to Soulless, I'd like to know a little bit about you. When did you first realise you were a storyteller?
Ooh, okay. I guess I must have been probably about 5 or 6 years old when I wrote my very first horror story about bats in a haunted house.
Wow.
Yes, and I've been writing right through primary school, right through high school, and obviously beyond high school. And I was really bad, but no one told me.
You were bad at writing?
Bad at writing.
But you loved it?
Oh, loved it. I couldn't spell to save myself.
But you still had all these great ideas, like bats in a haunted house. That's pretty
original.
Amazing, original for a 5-year-old. I mean, I didn't know bats existed at 5, so where was your inspiration?
Oh,
Where'd
gosh.
you get your inspiration
Good question. I cannot remember. All I remember is I wrote about bats. They're in a haunted house.
So you always veered towards horror?
I think there must be some sort of fascination towards it, but I can't say horror is the only thing I want to write.
Right.
But it's definitely an interest. I think it helps keep the reader engaged if there's some fear.
Absolutely.
In the stories.
Well, I love to read things and watch films, but read things also that make me scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a thrill about it, but it's being contained. So
Yeah,
it's,
you're safe here behind.
you're kind of safe, but you do get so involved and scared for your...
The addiction to the adrenaline rush, I think, and
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, just different platforms of obviously going into horror, TV, books, games, anything.
Yeah, absolutely. So when did you start thinking about writing as a career then?
Ooh.
No one told you were bad at it, which is good.
Thank gosh, yeah, no one said I was bad.
Which is good. Encouraging parents are always to be admired.
No, my parents are amazing.
Yeah.
As I said, I had a really bad spelling problem to the point I had to go see professionals.
But
that
then
I was
that
bad.
shouldn't stop anyone these days, what with spell check.
Yeah, I know. Now I feel like I can just cheat my way
That's
through
the
it.
computer's job.
Yeah, we got editors for that.
Yeah.
A lot of writers say it's just the urge or the overwhelming feeling of having all these ideas and the need to express them. And
Wow.
especially with my first series, My Demonic Ghost, I wasn't even going to publish it. I was just writing it because I could. I thought I'm going to be 40 or beyond before I get my break.
Yeah, because you are very young. But
Yeah.
that's an extensive number of pages to write for your own satisfaction, but you wrote it just to keep yourself happy, really amused, for amusement.
It's a lot of sacrifice. I mean, on my schoolies, I was writing.
Yeah.
So that says a lot about how cool I was.
No, but
in high
I mean,
school.
I don't know. I think it is really cool to be doing something different from the pack.
Yes.
It actually is pretty cool because, I mean, now look what you've got to show for it instead of a hangover.
Now I have products
Yeah.
that hopefully
Actually, I
people
think
love.
it is cool. I think it's really cool when someone does that at such a young age. It really impresses me.
Oh, well, thank you.
But we're here to talk about Soulless.
Yes.
Now, how did the inspiration come to you?
I've always had a fascination with the afterlife and with spirituality, as it's shown in my first series, My Demonic Ghost. But with Soulless, I am a believer of a spirit and I'm a believer of reincarnation. And I started just questioning, what if once we reincarnated, we remember our past lives? And I started diving a bit deeper into that question, saying, then what would humanity be like if you kind of remove the fear or the respect of death? What would happen to everybody? What would happen to our mentality? What would happen to our compassion with each other? What would happen just to our new human nature? That's where Soulless came into it. And obviously the main girl is a freak among freaks. So she is the one person in the world who doesn't have any reincarnated memories, who isn't suffering under these multiple personalities.
People not only know they're reincarnated, but at a certain age, about 5 or 6, the voices from their past start intruding on their current personality. Exactly. A little bit, I imagine, as in the case of a schizophrenic, And so they're haunted by their past lives.
Exactly.
And so when people say, oh, but if we were reincarnated, we'd remember our past lives. Now I could say, go to Soulless and see why we don't, because it could actually destroy your quality of life here, because people are absolutely haunted and maddened by memories of past deaths, of past traumas, and
especially, it's really hard for a 6-year-old or a 5-year-old to understand and comprehend what I'm seeing is real or isn't real, because they're reliving they're reliving it in their reliving their death,
or the moment of their death in their nightmares. And when children of 5 and 6 do this, it's traumatizing them. But the most it's not the scariest part of it, because there's lots of scary parts of it, and I'll get you to I'll get you to set the scene for us in a minute. But the most terrifying thing about it was that people had no respect for this life. And Nadia, our central character, although her past lives haven't intruded, her mother still says to her quite callously, you have my DNA, but I don't know who you are. You're not mine. Because everyone knows now that their children have come from multiple past lives, and they're just theirs for a certain time, and then they'll just die. And is a kind of a all the value and meaning out of this current life.
You lose that connection with another human. That's exactly right. You don't see your sister or your mother or your child as
something special to you.
Yeah, someone that is
because
for you.
You've really just got them. And like Nadia's mother, Lisa, who's not my favourite character,
not mine either,
says when she finds out her 6-year-old daughter was murdered in a past life, she says, "Great, that's all we need on our hands."
Another
crazy house, a ticking
time bomb,
traumatized housewife time bomb. When she finds out her daughter's been murdered.
Yeah, that's right. The mentality is being completely warped and almost destroyed any type of human connection that people naturally develop for each other and for their offsprings. Once you start believing like, oh, this life doesn't matter, that life doesn't matter, whatever's coming up, it doesn't matter. You've lost all your meaning and value
of life. And this is what people don't know. Some of these characters crave death, don't they?
Yeah.
They crave to know that what they would die and not come back.
Not come back, yeah. Which is a very strange thing to write for, because you don't usually write a character saying like, oh, I want to die.
I want peace. You get the feeling Diesel wants that.
Diesel wants that. He's the main, I would use the name romance character, but he's crazy as well.
It's an extraordinary romance.
Yes, especially in that world, it's very hard.
Describe to us this world and how far in the future it is. It's 1,000 years, 200 years ahead.
It's about 30 to 26, I think. I remember putting that date in there.
And this is about a world that's been through several world wars, and many of them nuclear.
Yes.
So we've really done a lot of damage to the planet.
Yeah.
And then what happened? At a certain point, people started you call it the return.
Yes.
So do you want to explain the return?
So basically, once the return was when people started realizing that they're coming back. And at that point, the fear of death is taken away. And they can do whatever they want, and there will be no...
To each other, there's no consequences.
There's no consequences, because they can do whatever, and if they're in a situation they don't like, they just... The government, the power in this world has created a system of scanning the soul imprint on the iris, which keeps track of everybody. So you can't just rob a bank. They've got you imprinted.
They're
like,
you're
in... Like, a 5-year-old is suddenly a criminal of robbing 5 banks, and he's sent to...
From past lives.
From past lives. That kid is in trouble.
That is just such a fascinating premise.
Yes.
And we'll come right back to that after this break. Welcome back to Creatives on the Couch, and I'm speaking with Jacinta Maree about her latest novel, Soulless. So, Jacinta, what I found fascinating about this, and I believe in reincarnation, and you do too, is the twist you gave it, that at a certain age, the children start to remember past lives, and then they're bombarded with all different characters and information from the past lives. Yep. So what impact does this have on them?
Oh, yes. So I know I touched base on it a little bit, that a 5-year-old experiencing a brutal murder is extremely traumatic.
Yes.
Yeah, traumatizing for that child. The spin that I wanted to build on, especially with Soulless, was just really diving into the human psyche and going beyond our mentality. And a lot, there's like depression touched on it, there's obviously schizophrenia touched on it, paranoia has touched on it. But I've written it in a way that it affects everybody. So I'm not talking just a small handful of people. I'm talking mass governments, politicians, the common man. Everyone is sick with this madness that will not go away.
And so the powers that be have one answer for it, and if you want to explain what that is, it's D400.
Yes, that's the drug that the government, the elite, is giving out to the population to try and stop everyone from what I call falling into a drift, into drifters. A drifter is just someone who loses all sense of reality, who almost becomes unattached to their body and unattached to their surroundings. These poor people are just reliving these terrible deaths, and there's no escape from it. So if you come across a drifter, they're going to react really violently to you, thinking they've got to defend themselves, that they're...
And so basically people just leave them to die in the streets. Yep. And the elite, the people running the show now, they just don't care, really. No. They don't give it...
Oh, they don't care anymore. I think we've gone beyond compassion for anybody.
There's so little compassion, and that's what makes your main character stand out.
Yeah.
So who was your inspiration for Nadia? Or was she completely your own?
Nadia came from Lara Croft, from Tomb Raider.
Ah, interesting.
Yes, but her personality I had to create from scratch.
Yes.
Purely because the world that she is based, I can't really draw because it's so extreme.
It's so extreme, and this poor girl is considered a freak in that world. Because she's not haunted by past lives.
Because she's not sick like everybody else is sick.
And so people misinterpret her kindness as stupidity.
Yeah.
And even though she's packing a shotgun and a weapon like everyone else, she fights like Lara Croft. She's got all the fight skills.
Yes.
But she's got a good heart.
Yes. So she's the type who would hesitate to shoot someone.
Yeah. Or need to do it for survival.
Yeah. Unless she's pinned, unless she just knows, they're going to hurt me, because obviously she's grown up in a world. She's not naive enough she's not from our world being pushed into that world. She's never been shown
normal
love.
Affection from her parents.
She's never been shown anything. Everything, she has that love in her, which she pushes onto her sister. And the only reason why she's able to connect with her sister so well, because her sister is so young, she's 5 turning 6, she hasn't started her transition yet. The voices haven't kicked in. So her sister's dependability is on Nadia as well.
And it calls out to Nadia's kindness.
Nadia. Yeah.
It's really the most redeeming relationship there, until little Annie, the little sister, does start to have nightmares and starts to change.
And once
Nadia
is kicks in,
literally sold by her parents to be an experiment.
Yeah.
But there's also another fascinating relationship, and that's between Nadia and Diesel, who is really mad.
Yes. He's on the other extreme end, which I loved putting those two together. And for him, what I loved pulling out of his character, because he's gotten so hard from like just being betrayed by betraying people, by being so aggressive and fighting to survive, fighting to be on top, fighting always. Nadia comes in and she defends him, and she like stops and helps him, and
shows some loyalty.
Yeah, and she's showing loyalty. She's showing all these human emotions, and he's put up a wall. And he's like, "What game are you playing? I know you're out to betray me. It's just a matter of time."
Yeah, he almost kills her, thinking she must be running a scam on him.
Yeah.
He cannot believe he can trust someone.
Exactly.
And actually, that's one of the most touching moments of the book, when this madman, but is completely unmanned by discovering that there is someone in this world he can trust.
Yeah.
But it's not finished.
No.
It's to be continued.
Yes.
So you've left us all all in a state, well, I won't say what state, but
Sure.
the state we're in, we're hanging, waiting.
Yeah.
But the thing is, did you have, it's such a long story, did you have this all mapped out before you started writing the first one?
To a degree. When I like to do dot points, but once I start writing, it's like...
Anything can happen?
Yeah, I laughed at those dot points. I'm like, you wish you followed that. So anything can happen.
Yeah, you think you're a dot point?
Yeah, I'm like, well, that cool twist is gone.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean...
But do you have an idea of the shape of the next...
I do. I have... I'm writing Soul Finder. It's number 2 to Soulless. And it's... The way it's just developing is really surprising me, even. So...
Well, we'll take a break there and pause for these messages. Welcome back, book lovers, to Creatives on the Couch. I'm speaking with Jacinta Maree about Soulless. And a lot of people watching would wonder, Jacinta Maree, what inspires you? Obviously, these ideas just come up in your head. What inspires you to actually go and write?
My biggest inspiration is the what if question. I love asking, what if monsters came out of our shadows? You know, what if ghosts were actually, like demons were actually good? Just those type of things.
Yeah.
I just hope it's interesting. I found it interesting. I hope to make it interesting for everybody else, and I really don't want to be cliched.
So where do you stand on the fact of the prophecy and the inhuman blood?
Oh, yes.
That's a very intriguing element, and it almost makes Nadia kind of a Christ figure, because in a way the prophecy is that the one with inhuman blood can stop all this madness, can heal it.
Yeah. One of the main struggles that I kind of hit was, I'm like, how did this happen to... It's basically our world, but at one point we're all hit with this reincarnation plague, so to say. So I'm like, what caused it? That was my biggest question, like, why? Why were these people hit? But where Nadia stands in her understanding of it, she doesn't believe it. She doesn't think she should be sacrificed for like a myth, for a prophecy.
And also, she's not sure about of getting another life, because she doesn't remember past lives like everyone else.
She fears death. She thinks, and she says
she's
it in
terrified.
The book, I'm so scared of dying. You have no idea what it's like to live in this world. And she says, I know if I die, I am not coming back. And that's it. Yeah. That's it for me. So she's terrified, and she lives in this world where death, like, she's waiting in line for food. Die.
Yeah,
people are just dying.
Being knocked down.
Yeah. She's walking down the street. There's a corpse there. She's surrounded by it. And people
really
don't care.
It really, and because it's a version of our world that actually could happen given a few more nuclear wars and an unscrupulous elite who are just out to look after themselves, and if you just got big pharma allied with the weapons industry and created these robots like sweepers and enforcers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a world that could happen if we keep going to war, especially nuclear war.
Yeah, well,
it's a possibility,
that's the horror of
and
it.
that's what's so scary, because I mean, in this there aren't really demons. The problem is humans.
Yeah.
So, for our new writers out there, you're extremely young to be published, and that's lovely.
Oh, that's good.
So, when My Demonic Ghost was published, you were only 21.
Yes.
Do you want to give any advice?
Yes, I would love to, actually. Obviously, My Demonic Ghost is my first series. I wrote it when I was about 17, 18. And I did what everybody else did. I went through the front door to all the publishing houses. Having no history in writing, having really no credentials, no nothing, it was really hard. I was lucky to get a rejection letter. The way I did it, I researched, I'm with Staccato, I researched the different publishers and who offers editing as well as publishing, and who did the same type of genres that I was writing. So what I really wanted and I was thinking this All the other publishers just were giving it a page or a chapter and saying, nah, don't want it. What I really wanted is to read all of it.
Yeah, so someone who'd read the whole...
Just read all of it and see if there's any good stuff in there. So, I gave it to them. The editor obviously worked on it, went all through it, and they turned around a few weeks later, said like, hey, we loved it. Can we publish it for you? I cried, I'll be honest. I was on the ground crying.
But that's crying in such a good way.
That is, yeah.
That's the best kind of crying.
Once you got your foot in the door, it's a lot easier because suddenly I've got, some backing to help me approach the next publisher. But I can understand coming from a newbie side, it is going to be really tough. It is always just best to research. You make sure you're approaching the right publisher, the right editors at the right. It's all about timing. It's not really a reflection of your work. Saying it's not publishable.
That's the thing to remember, and remember that so many brilliant writers had so many. You have to remember that so many brilliant writers have been rejected and rejected and rejected.
I almost took it as a compliment. I'm like,
well, you got a letter. Hey,
I got a letter. Thank you.
But yeah, they could be nicer too.
Yeah, well, it'll be nice. But anyway.
People now who are very intrigued and want to buy your books can go to...
Yeah, so basically My Demonic Ghost is available on Amazon and iTunes, Barnes & Noble. They went through an American publisher, Staccato. Soulless, I self-published. I did that one by myself. So you can go through me, which you can just find me on Facebook under Jacinta Maree. I'm on DeviantArt, Twitter, Tumblr, all that sort of things. Again, Amazon is probably the most popular place to go get it, but there's Book Depository if you want the hard, like the paperback. Again, iTunes, Scribe, Barnes & Noble, all just those very popular book retailers. You can find them there.
Terrific.
Yay.
Thanks very much. And the best of luck with your future writing.
Thank you so much.
And I can't wait for Soul Finder.
Oh, thank you. It's nearly done, so it's getting there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was Jacinta Maree on Creatives on the Couch, presented by ASJ Publishing. Look forward to seeing you next time.